yards after a 41-yard punt, but Nebraska now comes out offensively with good field position. They almost took it in the last time, and then that fumble cost them the ball.
That's right. This is a little better than good here. Get the ball on the 36-yard line. This is a 4-down offense.
Mike Rozier, the Heisman Trophy winner, not back in the game after he was tackled that one play and injured his left ankle. Trying to walk it off. Pitch back goes to Jeff Smith. He can go, and Jeff Smith is ahead for a 5-yard gain to the 31.
I think an interesting statistic here might be to bring up that Miami is the team that on first down has averaged 8.8. You get to see it on your screen. Nebraska 3.6. That is not their style, and you must credit the Miami defensive down linemen and linebackers.
They've played very well indeed, giving away a lot of size, but when it comes to the quickness factor, Miami's up there among the national leaders. They give up less than 10 points a game. Gill looks, fires, and he has a strike. Scott Kimball turning off the flank and out, goes down to the 21, a 9-yard gain. It's a Nebraska first down. That'll do it for the third quarter, John Brody. The gun sounds at the end of the third quarter. The score is Miami 31 and Nebraska 17. As Miami could be a quarter away from the national championship. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Mike Rozier, and this could be the key play as he was hit on his left ankle. You'll see him cut back. Reggie Sutton catches him, and Rozier, the premier runner in the game, has not been back since.
Yes, sir. It's a big situation. But let me tell you something. Opponents have scored only 10 points against Miami all season long. Now that is an amazing statistic, and they've got a 14-point lead. So it's an uphill battle indeed, whether they have Mike Rozier or not. And without him, it's really steep.
Up back, takes it straight ahead, Mark Shalane. Interesting, John, that in three Orange Bowls, Mike Rozier's never been in the end zone, never scored a touchdown in this game. And in the second half tonight, after rushing for 138 yards in the first half, he had a total of -2 yards and 3 carries in the second half. Canes were looking for him.
I think what you're seeing right now is a little change in philosophy as far as Nebraska's concerned. They're throwing the ball more than they normally do.
2nd and 9. Turner Gill takes a look. Man is open. Scott Kimball loses the ball at the end zone. Incomplete. Rod Bellinger with play after big play for Miami, and frustration builds on the Nebraska sideline.
Well, frustration should, because Turner Gill thought for sure he had a touchdown. He pulled the string on the throw just a little bit. When he did so, he had no play. You take a look, Scott Kimball's in perfect position. The ball didn't have quite enough zip on it, and Bellinger was right there.
Nebraska down 31-17, but a long way to go. 3rd and 8. Number 95, Kevin Fagan.
A sophomore, Don. Fellow that came out 2 years ago. He was like 45 or 50 pounds lighter than this. He was a walk-on, and are they glad to see him?
Well, they are, from Lake Worth, Florida. Right up the beach. Fagan's actually a sophomore, Kevin Fagan. Now 4th down, and Livingston ready to try a 47-yard field goal. He was on time with his last one. This one's taken way short and wide left, and the Hurricanes take over. This 1984 Orange Bowl game is brought to you by light beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. By the people at Solaflex, wishing you a happy and healthy new year. By Emery, we've earned the trust of American business. And by Nissan, who invites you to see the new 1984 Nissan 300ZX at your Datsun dealer now. Break down in Miami after a big first quarter, no points in the second, and again the big third quarter. Now at 13:34 in the ball game remaining, Hurricanes take over 1st and 10 after the missed Nebraska field goal. is there to stop it. Rob Stuckey makes the stop, and Mike Rozier, the great runner for the Cornhuskers, who went out with an ankle injury, has not returned. Trying to walk off that ankle injury, was unable to. Jeff Smith has been in at the eye back when Nebraska's had the ball.
Can't do anything if you can't run. I mean, he's made a very big contribution. What's happening right now is that Miami is unexpectedly winning the battle at the line of scrimmage.
Even though they're smaller, they are indeed. Bertolucci, Camandiero, Sinclair, Ward, and Heffernan, the interior linemen for Miami. Kosar, play fake.
Screen.
Griffin catches the ball. And those Huskers are hitting tonight. A scoring recap of the game. You remember that first drive of the Hurricanes that passed to Denison? It was 7-0. 45-yard field goal by Jeff Davis. Miami extended its lead to 10-0. Then another throw to Denison from Bernie Kosar. It was a surprising 17-0 shocker. Then the surprise play by the Huskers. The 11-yard around. And Nebraska was on the board. And again on a 1-yard dive by Turner Gill, making it a 17-14 game. The third quarter field goal by Nebraska tied it. Then the Hurricanes opened up. Highsmith, the rookie, went over the top to put them in front 24-17. Albert Bentley went 7 yards for a touchdown. That's how it stands now, 31-17 Miami. Alonzo Highsmith had it and lost it. He stops the clock with the incomplete pass at 11:58, and the Huskers will get it back now as the Hurricanes have to punt. Kosar looks like he's been playing this in the big league for 10 years.
Well, I'm sure he has been going over it in his mind in the big leagues, and he'll be in them for quite a few more. You can tell some guys fit there. He's one of them.
He's got a long time to go at Miami, a freshman, actually a redshirt freshman. He's in his second year at school, but he was redshirted his freshman year. But as an athlete, he's a freshman. A line drive punt by Tootin. Trying to work with the ball. The Cornhuskers were able to recover it. That would have been tough to come back from a fumble by Irving Fryer, but a Nebraska teammate comes up with the ball. 47-yard punt, no return. Back after this. The shoe on Mike Rozier's left foot just came off. It's been diagnosed as a severely sprained left ankle. And you have to think at this point it's unlikely he'll be back. Where are they now? Leon Hart, one of 2 linemen ever to win the Heisman. Big Leon out in Birmingham. John Hewitt, another Notre Damer, 1-64. Right now, Jeff Smith breaks it open for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Gets out across the 30 to close to the 35. John has taken his bonus money from the Jets and has parlayed it out in Tucson. Second down and about a foot now for Nebraska. Irving Fryer comes out in the right flank. He's not been hit deep yet. They're going to try it pretty soon, though.
But he's been hit a lot.
Oh, yeah. They're looking at deep now. Gill throws. They get the first down as they go to tight end Monty Engebretson. Taping up Mike Rozier again.
They're putting the try in anyway. You'd like to be able to go to your Heisman Trophy winner if when the game gets late and you're 2 touchdowns back, he could insert some sort of adrenaline, but I don't think it's their problem right now. Both of the backs that have replaced him, Jeff Smith and Paul Miles, they both run very well. It's at the line of scrimmage.
Miami is tough. Recovers, but Ricky Simmons, who took it on an end around, lost the ball in the big 300-pound tackle. Mark Benning from Denton, Texas, fell on it, but there's a loss on the play for the Huskers, and the clock runs down to 11 minutes to play.
Seems to be the way it's gone all night long. Just when something looks like it'll break, we flub a handoff. If we make a big run, somebody causes us to fumble. It hasn't gone their way, and a lot of that is because the Miami Hurricanes have played very opportunistic, aggressive defense.
Ricky Simmons goes to the sidelines. Miami was so prepared coming in. Rod Bellinger's taking some licks. Boy, he's passed some out. Right now he's helped off again. Lucius Delagal goes in to replace him, number 47. The freshman, Reggie Sutton, is up against Irving Fryer on the right flank. Over the middle they go. Todd Crane catches the ball. It's a Nebraska first down out to the 49-yard line. A 15-yard gain on the play.
They've done very well at using very few seconds on the clock, moving the ball some 35 to 40 yards down the field in some minute or less than a minute. Their receivers have been able to get out of bounds after they've caught the ball. But remember, when Nebraska gets behind, they don't have a lot of drop back passes. They have that play action stuff that isn't really too effective when it's 2nd and 9, 3rd and 10, and everybody knows you're going to throw.
They go to the run. They go to the quick hitter to the fullback, Shalane. Mark Shalane gets across midfield down to the 47-yard line. On a first down carry, got about 3. Jay Brophy made the tackle for Miami.
Well, you can't say enough for the defensive play of Jay Brophy, Tony Fitzpatrick, Fagan, you name it. All those fellas are standing people up at the line of scrimmage, and that's a great football team they're playing.
Good fake by Gill. Looks long, guns it. The pass is complete downfield to the 36-yard line. Scott Kimball coming back at the ball.
Very well thrown ball and a well-run pattern.
Good for 12 yards and a first down for the Huskers.
I don't think they have enough time to be fiddling around running into the line right now. I know that's their pattern, and they've always done so, and that's part of the reason I think they get in trouble when they get too far behind. Of course, they haven't done it all year long.
Yeah, the catch-up offense has not been part of their repertoire.
That's right. I bet they don't practice it much.
But they have been in 2 tight games that have gone down to the final play in the end zone. The Oklahoma State game, they won 14-10, did Nebraska, and after that one time Osborne said at least they can't accuse us of running up the score in this one. And a couple of pass breakups against the Sooners of Oklahoma, like cornerback Neil Harris saved that game. 28-21, Nebraska won. Jeff Smith breaks it open, and Jeff Smith rockets down to the 22-yard line. It is a first down and a 15-yard gain.
So much from my viewpoint. I start talking about how they have to throw it. Okay, take a look. Dean Steinkiller, Raridan, the 2 real big, all Big 8, all-American, all-everything linemen come out and do a fine job, give their running back a chance to run. Jeff Smith's doing the job when called upon.
Miami doesn't shy away from big teams. Notre Dame came in with a front line as big as Nebraska's, and Miami shut out the Fighting Irish here in the Orange Bowl 20-0 this year. 1st and 10, run takes it down to the 20-yard line. You were talking, John, about the enthusiasm, really the emotion of this whole metropolitan area rides with the Hurricanes tonight. Miami football's been down until the Howard Schnellenberger era. He's brought it back, and tonight it could hit the pinnacle.
Yes, and so many people have talked. You know, when you take a look, here's a defense that's, led the nation in so many categories, and yet they were given very little chance against what some people think is the best team that's ever played. So
Gill calls his own number. Quarterback draw. 3 steps back, and the quick shoot up the middle. He's down inside the 15-yard line. Coach Osborne sends in the plays. Got to be taking a look at that clock, which now is down to 8:35 and running.
They've used it very, very well. Remember, when a team picks up a first down, it automatically stops the clock until the chains are moved. So you can pick up some time that way. There's loads of time.
3rd and 2. Fumble. Tough to call signals. Very intense crowd. Looks like Turner Gill might have fallen on it, John, and if he did, he could have been enough for a first down. We'll see where they spot the ball.
He's got it, and it looks to be a first down.
Dr. Tom Osborne.
Well, I know this, that if they don't give it to him, I'd have it checked, because it looks like it's close enough. It doesn't look like it is one, but it's within 6 or 8 inches.
4th down. Heisman Trophy winner Mike Rozier is out with an injured ankle. Nebraska without his best weapon. The pitch back to Jeff Smith. He turns the corner. He's got the first down. A from behind tackle drives him down to the 5-yard line of Miami. And now Nebraska goes 1st and goal from the Hurricane 5. 7:34 to play.
Tell you what, Dean Steinkuhler, you sit there and so many times people will say, well, why do we always feature him? He features him the whole scene. They run behind him a lot. He's a great blocker. He pulls very well, and he makes contact at the point of attack. In a critical situation, he picks up a big first down, or is responsible for it.
It was a freshman, 255-pound Jerome Brown, 98, who made the knockdown. And now Miami player is attended to. Looks like it could be a heat cramp. We'll be back to the Orange Bowl right after this. Don Criqui with John Brody back at the Orange Bowl. This is what the two teams are playing for. It's nice, but the national championship, which is also on the line, is priceless. Right now, with 7:33 to play. Miami has the lead, but Nebraska's challenging. Miami leading 31-17. Turner Gill turns up, turns in, gets down to the 1. 7:15 to play, the clock running. Nebraska, after scoring early in the third quarter after fumbling a Miami, recovering a Miami fumble to tie the game, has not scored since. As you see, the Hurricane defense holding Nebraska to 35 points below its season average. Huskers come in scoring like a basketball team. 52 points a game. Over the top. Jeff Smith is in for a touchdown. 6:55 to play, and the Huskers are right back in it.
I don't think there's much doubt they'll go for the one-pointer here. Some people say, hey, wait a minute. What do we do? Do we go for the two-pointer or the one-pointer? I think psychologically it would be a defeat if you go for a two-pointer and don't make it. You see they're starting to move off at the line, at the point of attack. Their offensive line actually had all the action on the other side of the goal line. I think it would be a downer if they went for two and didn't make it right here. Whereas if they kick the point, they stay within 7 and a chance to make 2 later. And without Mike Rozier.
So Johnny Rogers on the sideline. They were asking, where is he? He's right here. There is no overtime, as you know, in college football. The extra point by Livingston is up and good, and it's now a 31-24 game. Nebraska will kick off with 6:55 to play. 31-24 Miami, with a 7-point lead now as Nebraska puts up its first touchdown of the second half on an over-the-top dive by tailback Jeff Smith. Great ball game on the golden anniversary of the Orange Bowl. Don Criqui with John Brody. John, an interesting dilemma now facing Nebraska. If they should tie this game, would they get the next touchdown? Would they go for the tie and maybe get the national championship? They could conclude unbeaten.
I think they definitely would if they did it soon enough. But I think if it happened late in the ball game, they'd go for the win. And I think we'd have a chance to see whether Tom Osborne thought it was better to win the national championship or to win the Orange Bowl. I know it would be a very unpopular decision if it happened late and they didn't take a shot to win it, but those are coaching decisions. I can remember a game several years ago where there was a 10-10 tie between a couple of nationally ranked teams, and it didn't settle well with the fans at all in Notre Dame, did it?
People forget, though, Michigan State punted after Notre Dame did.
Yeah, that man seemed to survive quite well.
A high spinning kick down to Keith Griffin. He's got a problem. Look at those Huskers come down. Oh, these guys are playing like champions now. 6:49 to play. Miami has the ball. John, of course, a moment ago referring to the 1966 game between the two unbeatens, Notre Dame and Michigan State.
Downer if they went for 2 and didn't make it right here. Whereas if they kick the point, they stay within 7 and a chance to make 2 later. And without Mike Rozier.
So Johnny Rogers on the sideline. They were asking, where is he? He's right here. There is no overtime, as you know, in college football. The extra point by Livingston is up and good, and it's now a 31-24 game. Nebraska will kick off with 6:55 to play. 31-24 Miami, with a 7-point lead now as Nebraska puts up its first touchdown of the second half on an over-the-top dive by tailback Jeff Smith. Great ball game on the golden anniversary of the Orange Bowl. Don Criqui with John Brody. John, an interesting dilemma now facing Nebraska. If they should tie this game, would they get the next touchdown? Would they go for the tie and maybe get the national championship? They could conclude unbeaten.
I think they definitely would if they did it soon enough. But I think if it happened late in the ball game, they'd go for the win. And I think we'd have a chance to see whether Tom Osborne thought it was better to win the national championship or to win the Orange Bowl. I know it would be a very unpopular decision if it happened late and they didn't take a shot to win it, but those are coaching decisions. I can remember a game several years ago where there was a 10-10 tie between a couple of nationally ranked teams, and it didn't settle well with the fans at all in Notre Dame, did it?
People forget, though, Michigan State punted after Notre Dame did.
Yeah, that man seemed to survive quite well.
A high spinning kick down to Keith Griffin. He's got a problem. Look at those Huskers come down. Oh, these guys are playing like champions now. 6:49 to play. Miami has the ball. John, of course, a moment ago referring to the 1966 game between the two unbeatens, Notre Dame and Michigan State. Ended in a 10-10 tie, and the Irish won the national championship.
And it was for the same reason that they went for the tie. So, you know, if people make such a large issue of who wins the national championship, and people have done so, which is most important?
It's a pretty large issue, Rhodes.
That's right.
The whole state of Nebraska rallies around the Big Red, and right now they're putting the heat on. Kosar hit from behind, but he gets it to Eddie Brown. Eddie Brown's got some moves he hasn't used yet.
I think, you know what I think? I think Bernie Kosar would like to have access to what this camera does. He'd like to see number 87 coming around. That's right. You know, Bill Weber hitting him in the back just as he lets go of the ball. It'd be a whole lot easier to play that position if you could.
That was the NBC remote camera up on the goalpost. Eddie Brown with his 5th reception. He got Miami out of jail for the moment. It's 2nd down and 4 right now. Miami leading 31-24 with 6:41 to play. Keith Griffin puts his head down, and Big Rob Stuckey knocks him down. It's 61 degrees in Miami.
A lot warmer on the field underneath those shoulder pads and helmets.
Gain of 2, 3rd and 2.
Light it up, signaling the new year.
That's a little mock-up of a man that's injured. I guess all's fair and whatever, not by me. Let's see what Bernie Kosar does here. I think there's a good chance you'll see him throw a pass in the 3rd and 2 right here. Little short one.
Nebraska blitzing. Bernie throws. He's got Keith Griffin. He's got a 1st down. McCashlin and Brett Clark knocked him down, but the money throw from freshman Bernie Kosar to senior Keith Griffin gets a 1st down for Miami, and you see the clock, 5:51 to play.
And I tell you, he had Keith Griffin so far open, he threw that thing like a shot put. That baby was not going to get anywhere but to old Keith. Good play at a critical time. Good call.
Old Keith is all business, too, isn't he, when he gets it? To that earlier fumble, he's made some big plays all night long for Miami. Got away from the Buckeyes, did Keith Griffin. Left Columbus to come to Miami. 1st and 10, Hurricanes. Keith Griffin, he's popped by Mike Knox, that tough inside linebacker who broke 5 helmets already this season.
How'd he break them? While they were on his head, or?
Yes, he did. He didn't drop them after practice.
All right, Mike Knox, outstanding linebacker.
So he broke them.
Gets in good position.
6'3", 235, Mike Knox from Castle Rock, Colorado. Butkus type. They don't like to be around him in practice. He didn't know when it's the real thing or not. He knows, but he likes to go full speed all times. Knox, 2nd down and 9 now, Miami. Hurricanes lead by 7. 4:40 to play. In the flat, it goes to Eddie Brown, and he dives ahead. Breaks it open. Look at this play. That's just fabulous athletic ability. 41 yards.
There are a lot of people with great athletic ability, Don, but there aren't many people that continually come up with the needed play at the needed time. Kosar's one, and number 40, Eddie Brown. He's the fellow that got them back in the ball game against Florida State, gave them a chance to kick a field goal late, win the ball game. Beautiful play, breaking those 2 tackles.
Boy, it was a tremendous play. 31-24, Miami in white with the lead. Kosar has set an Orange Bowl record for passing yardage, 300 yards for the freshman. Live action, Albert Bentley. He's been quiet for a while, but not now.
Oh! That was a touchdown. If he keeps his feet, he made so many good moves to get in the open. It was very difficult to keep his balance, but what a great play. There's another man, number 16. Their offensive personnel has really outplayed Nebraska's tonight. Number 20, 16, 44, 40, you name them. Number 6, Stanley Shakespeare, early in the ball game. All of their what you call skilled positions have had great nights.
Albert Bentley with the big run, as you point out, John. He was gone, and to be able to hold his footing, he did get up first down. This holds up. There's going to be some party in Miami.
Well, you know, it's funny. No matter how much you hear,
will be up late.
No matter how much you hear and how much enthusiasm the city of Miami had, all the smart people said, hey, yeah, but they're playing against Nebraska. Now, who did they beat? They beat some good teams. I'll tell you, East Carolina and Florida State at the end of the year were playing exceptional football. Anybody that saw them play in a bowl game knows. And these guys have come to play.
Blitz. Again, they pick it up. Keith Griffin. Going to the draw play. And Keith Griffin is ahead on a first down carry down to the 26-yard line.
You know, by design, when you're blitzing against a draw play, you should stop it for a loss. But if just a small crack opens and the offensive linemen use good technique, they can break something for the back and he can pick up good yardage. That's what happened. Kosar read the blitz, gave the linemen a chance to see their blocks, and look at the crack they created. Beautiful play. Bentley, number 16, was in there at the point of attack.
Juan Comandiero, the Cuban-born guard, had the big seal block to open the draw. At second down and a long 4, Keith Griffin runs, and the Cornhuskers, Rob Stuckey, rides him down. But importantly now, the clock continues to tick. Working against the top-ranked and unbeaten Cornhuskers, who at the moment trail Miami 31-24.
And if they get one more timeout, it's going to force Nebraska to take their timeouts before they get possession of the ball. This is a very big play. Now, if they can move the ball about 3 yards, they'll be able to kick a 40-yard field goal, and this ball game would be history. So I expect them to probably either throw a short out or try to run the ball about 3 yards.
Let's see. It's third down and a long 3. Keith Griffin, nothing there, and the Cornhuskers shut it down. It brings up fourth down. And the game clock continues to tick. 1:53, 52. Now they stop it. One of Coach Schnellenberger's sons. Another one's on the team. Stu Schnellenberger, an important part of it. 1:53 to go in Miami's quest for a national championship. Not New Year's night in Miami, but the celebration's bigger than any New Year's, as right now the Hurricanes, an underdog, are leading top-ranked and unbeaten Nebraska 31-24. Bernie Kosar's right arm has been a key. The freshman from Boardman, Ohio, and another very, very difficult factor that's mitigated against the Cornhuskers is the injury to their great runner, Mike Rozier, the Heisman Trophy winner, out with an injured ankle. Went out in the second half. Fourth down now. Here's the field goal attempt. Jeff Smith drills it. Didn't get there. Nebraska will get the ball with 1:47 to play. John, we're going down to the final gun, it looks like, in this one.
And you can see some coaches are very quiet and passive. Others get their group ready. And this man has been an inspirational force for this group all year long. He's not about to take a back seat right now. 1 minute and 47 seconds between the Miami Hurricanes and a national championship.
Wide left, and it's no good. And so the Cornhuskers get back the ball with 1:47 to go. And the unbeaten Nebraska team trailing by 7. Irving Fryer. Rod Bellinger saved a touchdown. Finally, Fryer, who's been dormant, explodes for 29 yards, very nearly exploding for the distance.
What a beautiful throw.
Oh.
Now that was a play in which he only took 3 steps back. It's the first pass in this half on first down. And that is a very effective decision itself.
29 yards, it used 6 seconds. It's covering some ground.
A lot of timeouts left, a lot of time. There's no hurry either way, but I think this man has left it all out there. Rodney Bellinger, number 4, has done a phenomenal job on Irving Fryer. Played him one-on-one throughout most of the evening, stopped a lot of in sweeps. Let's take a look here. Just a little 3-step drop. He catches Fryer in between the zone, and we're back on the field.
Live action, 1st and 10. Gill gets it away on the run. Shane Swanson goes up in the air, but came down empty. Overthrow. It's Lee, 2nd down and 10. And the game clock shows 1:28 to play.
Jack Fernandez made another good play, forcing Turner Gill to throw the ball a little before he wanted.
Nebraska, unbeaten, the dominant team in college football this year with a 52-point-a-game scoring average, trying to come back without the Heisman Trophy winner Mike Rozier, sidelined with an injured ankle. That's the amount of time remaining in the game. Here's a throw, and down with the ball is Ricky Simmons. It's a good catch, and the Huskers have it down to the 26-yard line of Miami, a 19-yard gain.
Beautiful pattern. That was perfectly timed and a beautiful pattern. They can throw that ball from a drop back, and people have talked about for what Nebraska does. Turner Gill is a great quarterback. I think he could be an exceptional T-formation pro-style quarterback. It's just that he can adapt to any style.
Ricky Simmons way wide now, and here's a give up the middle, and this time the Hurricanes defense is there to shut down Jeff Smith as the clock runs. 1:13 to go. And now Nebraska signals for and is allotted a timeout. And then, of course, theoretically, looking at a possible Nebraska score, John, if they go in, they have the option of going for the win with a 2-point conversion. The much higher percentage kicked extra point would mean a tie game. They'd still finish the season unbeaten. And would they be crowned out? In all the probability they would be. But we don't know. We don't vote.
You know, that's a decision for Tom Osborne to make. It's obvious if he goes for a 2-pointer, the only way he can come out on top is go for a 2-pointer and make it. Because then there can't be any second guessing. A 2-pointer and miss, they say, hey, why don't you go for the national championship? A 1-pointer and tie, why don't you go for the win? So he's in a no-win situation if they pick up the next 25 yards. But hey, that's no gimme. They're playing against the toughest team in the country in the last quarter of football. This group's only given up 10 points all year long.
Tom Osborne, a doctor of educational psychology, PhD. He can stay under control, and so can Coach Schnellenberger. 2nd down and 8. 1:12 to play. Turner Gill with his 28th pass. Irving Fryer, he dropped the ball. The best receiver in the country, but even the great ones have a lapse. And Fryer's came at a most inopportune time.
Irving Fryer has not been a big factor tonight. He's got a chance, as the great ones always do, to make the catch to put them back in the ball game, and he dropped the gimme.
Free ball. Steinkuhler picks it up. We'll see if it's a fumble. Apparently they're ruling his arm was in motion, were they not, John?
Well, it's pretty tough to tell.
A play they'll never forget if Nebraska doesn't go in.
Now, I don't know if this man has ever dropped a ball. They've never been in this kind of situation before, but to be regarded as one of the top 5 players in college football, you couldn't have ever dropped a ball in a situation like that. And I don't think there's any more to say, because nobody could feel worse. He's just hoping to get another chance.
That's it. And now it could be his very last one, because the Cornhuskers have 4th down coming up. 4th down and 8. The ball at the 24-yard line of Miami. One last look. The earlier play, Irving Fryer with the goal line sprint. A perfectly thrown ball from Gill, but it's dropped. He split the defenders and was wide open, was Irving Fryer. Then in his heartbreak, he collapses to the ground. And now 4th down is coming up for Nebraska. The Cornhuskers with the longest winning streak in major college football. They've won 22 straight games. 12-0 this season. Ranked number 1 all year. But they're down by 7. Look at this play, Jeff Smith. Touchdown, Nebraska! The Cornhuskers somehow find a way with Mike Rozier on the sideline, his backup. Jeff Smith takes the pitch back up. Brilliantly executed play by Turner Gill. 24 yards and a touchdown. Now it's a 31-30 game. And what does Nebraska do?
I have not seen the kicker come on the field, and I don't think he's coming on the field. And I might as well, I think that they've got things going their way. Tom Osborne made this decision a long time ago. Don't think that this situation caught him by surprise. He's decided to go for 2 and take his shot and win, and I commend him for it.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska. Incomplete. Could have had the national championship in all probability with an extra point that would have tied it. They'd have still finished unbeaten. But courage was so evident there. The integrity of Nebraska football and that whole state was on the line. They gambled and lost, but they're certainly to be given great credit for trying.
And let's remember, this ball game is not over.
Right you are. 48 seconds left to play.
But this is the try. I think he made the right call. I just commend a guy that has the nerve to do that. He's willing to put it out there on the line. He called a good play. The ball was dropped. That's the way football goes. Miami's played a great football game. And if in 48 seconds they become the winner, they certainly deserve to be national champions.
The golden anniversary of the Orange Bowl turns out to be the greatest game of all.
And an onside kick, I don't think we have to make much discussion about. It will happen. Let's see how it comes out.
Coach Howard Schnellenberger. His heartbeat's got to be 180.
He knows this case is not closed. Mark Trestman is down there saying, look, Coach, if we recover the ball, we do not have to run a play to run out the clock. They've got 2 timeouts. That won't be enough. We'll be able to end this thing and go in a winner. But they must get the onside kick. I thought they had some timeouts, and they don't.
What a football game. In the golden anniversary year, Steve Lynch, the Orange Bowl president, all the people on the Orange Bowl committee had hoped for a great game. There was speculation Miami would be blown out. Everybody here had faith in Tom Osborne. Showed his dignity and his courage, going for the win. The Huskers didn't get it, though. And now Miami has only to run out the clock.
And, you know, just like ball games go and certain people are kind of ordained to do certain things, the last play of the ball game, number 16, Albert Bentley, comes down with the onside kick. There have been a lot of great plays. I guess the last one's always the most important.
You know, when you're in this business, John, you always get asked, what's the greatest game you ever were at or saw? This is it for me.
And this This is about as fine a football game as ever been played, and happens to be for the national championship. That man has done it all.
Set it to music. This is hurricane warning, #1 in Miami.
They say the wind is picking up. I heard it just this morning. The flags are being raised because it's a full-blown hurricane warning. They're lining in formation, all shining orange and green, busting butt on their own turf. There's nothing they ain't seen. You just look out, Nebraska. Better hold on to your corn, because the hurricane is coming. It's looking like a storm. Block 'em. You can do it now. Knock 'em to the ground. Drag 'em to their end zone and kick their butts around. Hit 'em where the corn don't grow. Plant 'em in the ground. Make sure they hear the warning that the hurricane's in town.
Watch out for the hurricanes, they're stirring up the night. When you make a move, you better make it right. Watch out for the hurricanes, they're blowing up the storm.
So much for hurricane warning, and now the final 46 seconds of this game. Game that'll be replayed emotionally by these players and their fans throughout the years. A hallmark game in college football. A great demonstration of courage by Nebraska going for the win, and for Miami an absolutely miracle year. The dream season as they come back from a bad loss opening day to go to 11 straight wins, and in all probability, when the votes are in, a first ever national championship for the Hurricane.
And I'd like to say that the coaching staff, the players themselves, felt they were going to win tonight. They were not in awe of Nebraska. Now, many of the fans were, most of the writers were, and I think anybody who had seen Nebraska play was. But these guys did it because they knew they could.
I'll tell you right now, school's out. This place up for grabs. Locker room after one of the most dramatic football games, I would venture to say, in the history of this great college game.
And you notice that man has still got his composure. He had it. He was saying very softly all week long, I think we can win. We've got the people to win. We can't afford to make mistakes. We can't afford to get anybody hurt. But I'll tell you, if we all hang in there, I feel we can do it. He's been letting his team know. They've been preparing for 6 weeks, and they did it. That's a wonderful feat against a great team.
It was, and the confidence you talked about, John, really was evident all week long. Even when he went to scout Nebraska at the Oklahoma game, Schnellenberger says they're going to be the best team we'll face all year, but they can be beaten. We can't make mistakes if we're going to do it, but we can win. And they did.
And it was an offense that came out from the gun, throwing the ball around. They knew they had to put some points on the board early, get a lead, hang in there. They did that. Then comes Nebraska back, and they did it again. I mean, when everybody said, oh boy, they'll make it close anyway, now they open up another 14-point lead. That man right there, Dennison, catches 2 touchdowns.
And here is the critical play of the game. Nebraska goes for 2. The play is broken up at the goal line, and the Huskers, in their valiant effort to win the game rather than go for the tie, come up empty. And ultimately now the victory, and possibly, quite more than possibly, the national championship going to the University of Miami. There are 2 polls, of course, the coaches poll and the writers poll. We'll be back to the 50th Orange Bowl in a moment. But right now, with Miami a 31-30 victor, let's go to Len Berman in New York. Len?
Thank you, Don Criqui. What a day it's been around the country on Bowl Day 84. And really, when you think about it, number 1, number 2, and number 5 all lost today. So the big day for upsets. Who will be number 1? We'll figure it out in a few minutes, perhaps. Anyway, let's take a look at some of the highlights from around the country today. First up, the Fiesta Bowl right here on NBC Sports. The View in Tempe, Arizona, as Pittsburgh thought they may have had a late fourth quarter win with the snuffy Everett field goal, but Ohio State showed some class coming back. Over the years, they've been a running team. Here they win it with a touchdown pass with just 39 seconds to go. Tom Zach to Jemison, and they win it 28-23. On to the Cotton Bowl. The Dogs did it. They trailed 9-3 to number 2 unbeaten Texas, but Texas fumbled this punt late in the fourth quarter. Gary Moss recovered it for Georgia. So then Georgia, they took it in from 17 yards away. Their quarterback, John Lastinger, did it. So number 2 unbeaten Texas loses to Georgia 10-9. In the Rose Bowl today here on NBC, all Bruins. The Pac-10 continues to do it to the Big Ten. Number 5 Illinois goes down to defeat 45-9 at the hands of Rick Neuheisel. This 15-yard pass to Carl Durrell was one of 4. That tied a Rose Bowl record. So when you think about the last 15 Rose Bowls, the Pac-10 has won 13 of them. Then the Sugar Bowl tonight. Auburn fans feel perhaps they should get a few votes for number 1. They knocked off Michigan by a score of 9-7, although they did not score a touchdown today. They did all with field goals. Bosch, Schembechler, and Michigan, well, they had the lead throughout the game. This was the only touchdown. Steve Smith, 4-yard rollout, 7-0 Michigan. But the Auburn defense really did a job on Michigan here. 4 turnovers. Now, here we go. Al Del Greco, 19-yard field goal, third of the game with 23 seconds remaining. Auburn wins it 9-7. Their fans say, give us a couple of votes for number 1. Now, the game you just saw, one of the great collegiate bowl games in history, perhaps the top Orange Bowl in their 50-year history. Miami knocks off powerful Nebraska as Howard Schnellenberger and company do it. They took a 17-0 lead. Bernie Kosar, 2-yard touchdown pass to Glenn Dennison. That was the first of the touchdown plays. Then the trick play. Here's how Nebraska got on the board. The snap that they fumbled on purpose, the guard, Dean Steinkuhler, picked it up, ran 19 yards for the touchdown, and Nebraska finally scored and trailed 17-7. Now second half action. Albert Bentley, 7 yards away. He takes it in. Miami now leads it 31-17. Critical play here. Mike Rozier is hurt. Leaves the game with an ankle injury. He finished with 147 yards. But Nebraska came back. Heartbreak here for Irving Fryer. Wide open, and he dropped it. But Nebraska got Fryer off the hook. Jeff Smith did it on a 4th and 8. Smith takes it all the way in for the touchdown, and Nebraska closes to within 1 at 31-30. The gutsy call going for 2 points. It's not to be. Miami wins it 31-30. So, who is the national champion? Is it Miami? Is it Auburn? Or is it Nebraska? All have just 1 loss. Nebraska's gutsy call may have lost them the game going for 2 points, but it may have won them some votes. We'll find out 6:30 tomorrow night. Len Berman in New York. Back to the Orange Bowl now.
Thank you, Len. 31-30, the final score. Miami the victor, and now let's go down to the Miami locker room to Bill McAtee. Bill?
Okay, thank you very much, Don Criqui. Bernie Kosar, I think somebody forgot to tell you were a freshman. You hung in there, showed a lot of poise. Your line did a terrific job.
I'll tell you, today the offensive line, they really haven't been getting much credit all season. And there's the guys like right there, Ian St. Clair, Paul Bernicelli, my roommate, Alvin Ward, all of Dave Heffernan and Juan Cummings. That's a heck of a group. Those guys, they said they'd give their life for me, and I think they just about did today.
I know Nebraska plays a lot of man, and there was no doubt that you felt you could throw on them.
Yeah, we went into the game thinking that, we were going to be able to throw the ball. We tried to, mix it up early, and I think we did in the first quarter. But in the second quarter, we kind of got out of our game plan, kind of started throwing the ball too much. But we got back into it the third quarter and were able to move the ball.
You had a couple of new plays in there. I know one of the touchdown passes to Dennison was new.
Yeah, I think the second touchdown we had today was that it was called 50 wide middle as a new play, and it worked well, a couple times today.
I want to take you back to the beginning of the season, the first week after the loss. Did you ever feel that it would come down to a moment like this?
No, never. That's the only way to describe it. I knew the team had the potential to, win our games, but to end up the way it did,
You know that Auburn won. Is there any question, though, in your mind who's number one?
Well, I guess it's up to the polls, but I'd say in my heart, we're number one.
Okay, Bernie Kosar.
That's the greatest coach right there.
Howard, come on over, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you.
When you spoke of this game, you spoke in terms not only of it being an important football game, but in terms of community.
Well, I think you could see out there in that stadium tonight what it really meant to this community and how totally involved and totally committed they were to this game tonight. This has been a love affair that's been developing for 5 years. Tonight was the fulfillment of a dream that, I say fulfillment, it might just be the beginning of a dream.
I want to take you back a few moments ago on the field, the gutsy call by Tom Osborne to go for 2. Now, he probably could have won the national championship had they tied the ball game. Was there any doubt in your mind that he tried for 2?
There was no doubt in Tom Osborne's mind. There was no doubt in my mind. He's a champion, and he went after it like a champion.
Now, one of the keys to this ball game, you said earlier in the week, was that if Nebraska scored, they had to take at least 10 plays to do it. No big plays. And when they got their touchdowns, that's exactly how they did it.
Well, it was, and that was a real reason why we were successful. The defense played a super football game. They had one really major error, but other than that, they played a great football game against a great Nebraska football team, and our offense came back to life and did some things pretty well too. Bernie Kosar was super.
This was a game, obviously, for your football team of emotion, and yet you had to be a little unnerved when Mike Rozier took off for 27 yards early on.
I was unnerved much of the game, because when you have those types of people in the game, you know it can break at any time. But again, the defense played a bending defense, but they didn't break very much.
Now, of course, Auburn won. Is there any question in your mind about who's number one in the country?
No, there's no question in my mind or anybody in this room's mind who's number one team in America. The Miami Hurricanes are the number one team.
Howard, there have been an awful lot of stories about you leaving the University of Miami. We have to address those now.
Well, it's just like you say, they're stories.
No truth to them whatsoever?
They're stories.
Tony Fitzpatrick, your nose guard. It was very important, you said early, for him to get in there and penetrate, and he seemed to do that.
Tony Fitzpatrick has to be the most gutty guy that I've known in a long, long time. Hadn't played a football game in 10 weeks. Scrimmaged one time for 16 plays, and then to go out and play probably 72 plays against the finest offensive line in America.
Howard, congratulations. A terrific football game. We enjoyed watching it as well.
Thank you.
31-30. The University of Miami makes its claim to the national championship. Let's go back upstairs at On Cricket.
Thank you, Bill. The emotion that's been spent this evening is as awesome as the game itself. It was just a phenomenal football game. We're just so privileged to be able to be a part of it, John.
Yeah, and I think it's all been said, Don. The whole Orange Bowl committee couldn't have drawn up a better script, and the only man that predicted it was Bob Lafferty, so he's next year's president. He gets off on a good note.
Well, it was a great victory, and again, when you talk about the football game, as much as the Miami victory, you have to remember the courage, the valor of Tom Osborne and the Nebraska Cornhuskers going for the win. They did not get it. The final score, Miami 31, Nebraska 30 in the golden anniversary year of the Orange Bowl. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Wiseman. The coordinating producer of NBC's football coverage is Ted Nathanson. Today's telecast was produced by George Finkel, directed by John Gonzalez, technical director Lenny Stucker, associate director Joe Michaels, associate producer Antoinette Macchiaverna. Due to the length of tonight's game, the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson will not be seen. Stay tuned for local news, followed by Late Night with David Letterman. The final number's up on the golden anniversary of the Orange